Okay, so let's model our staircase for this particular building. So uh, let's go to our ground floor plan, right? So let's also open our first floor plan also. So the first floor level. Okay, so this cut section over here is where we have our staircase, right? So we have to model our staircase to be in this void space. How do we do that? So let's open our 3D and then scroll a bit closer. So you can see what I want you to notice is that we have elevational differences between the corridor and then the rooms, right? So the corridor is a step down of 150. Okay. So we have to effect that step down into our modeling. Okay. We have to effect that step down into our modeling because it means our staircase is not starting on the ground floor exactly, it's rather starting at the step down section. Okay. So we have to pay attention to that. So let's go to one of the elevation view. Let's open one. So you can see this is our ground floor level, right? Ground floor level, which matches with certain some of the floors, but you can see where we have the step down, it doesn't match. So let's draw a grid line to match that step down. So let's go to structure. Let's go to a level line rather. So click on that. Let's select the arrow mark, and then let's give 150 as our. So 150. Yeah. So you hover down, select this and hover down. So now we have that level mark drawn. Let's let this go down a bit. Let it can go down so that it's visible for us to see. Okay. Uh, okay. Let's extend this one a bit. On this to this one. Okay, let's select this one. So it's not possible to select that one. Okay. Okay. So so this is a level that we've created, right? This is a level that we've created for our. Let me send this one up. I want it to go quickly for us to see. Okay. Okay. Oh, now, now this level, let's limit the staircase level. Right, staircase. Let's limit staircase level. Okay. And then let's make this staircase level visible in the plan view. So you go to structural plan and then let's save the project. Let's make it visible over here. Okay. So now that level is visible over here. That's what we want. We want that level to be visible so that we'll draw our staircase from the step down level. Okay. Now let's give the rearrange for this level. Okay. That we're able to see what we are working with. Let's give our top level to be 100. Let's give our cut to be 0. Let's give our bottom to also be 0. And let's give this to -3. And then so we can, oh no, because of the see, so you always make sure that you change this stuff in staircase level, this showing foundation, staircase level, click on apply. Okay. You want to make sure that this associated level are on that level that you're working with. I think so. That's fine for us. And let's do shaded. Okay. Yeah. So now we want to draw a staircase. Okay. So when you're drawing your staircase, you have to let's hold okay, to what do okay, let's start from there. So when drawing the staircase, right, you have to study the architectural drawing. You have to study the architectural drawing for these key things, okay? For this key thing. So the very first one that you have to pay attention to is your riser heights. Your riser heights. Okay. So can be anything between 170 to 150 mm, depending on your building code allowance, right? So this is depending on your building code allowance. Okay. So let's say for your project, the architect gives you 150 mm. Okay. So that's what you look at. You also have to look at your tread. The second thing you have to look at is your tread length. Okay. So if you have a staircase, like this. So this one over here is your tread. Okay. Staircase. This over here is your tread. This over here is your eyes. Okay. So the tread length, you also have like standard requirements. So the building code has some allowances. So whatever the architect wants to use, so you just look at that also. So let's say for this project, it's 300 mm. Okay. And now, what does this help us to know? So if you know the floor to floor, you know the floor to floor height. Floor to floor height, let's say it's for our project is 3150. Okay. And then you know your riser height. We go to what 150. If you divide these two together, so 315 divided by 150, you're going to get what? So let's divide this to 3150 divided by 150. That'll give us 21. Okay, 21. But that'll give us 21, right? But we know that the floor that we are, right, MB, we have a step down of 150 again, right? From the ground floor. That's where the staircase is starting. So instead of that, we have plus another 150 again, right? So that'll give us 300. So if we are going to do the plus or minus, it means we'll have 22 steps, right? 22 steps before we get to the first floor. Okay. So you have to pay attention to that. You have to know the amount of steps that we'll have before we get to the next floor. Very, very important in order to guide your modeling. Okay. So let's go to the next one after that. So you have to also know your staircase width. Okay. You have to also know your staircase width. You have to know your staircase width. Right. So if you're looking at your staircase in plan, this like looking at it in plan, right? You want to know what this width is. Okay. So what is this width? You have to know per your project. So for this project, we are using 1350 mm. Okay. But it could be different for every other different projects that you're working with. Let's confirm. Okay. What we are using for this project. So let's go to go to measurements. Let's measure this to this area. That gives us 1270, 2070, okay. 2700 divided by 21350. Okay, so that's okay. That's 1350. Okay, so you also have to know the length of your length of your mid landing slab, right? The length of your mid landing slab. You have to know the length of your mid landing slab. Okay. That's the slab that connects your steps. And then you walk on that slab and connects you to the other steps that take you to the first one. So you have to know the length of that one. So you just go to the file that the architect has given to you and then use your measuring tool to calculate and then pin that down in your document file as a reference. Okay. So basically, and also, yeah, the thickness of your slab, okay, and the thickness of your slab, okay, so 150, and then, okay, that the inclined section, right? You want to know what that thickness is, where your staircase is sitting on. So the staircase is sitting on that incline. So you want to know what the thickness is. Okay, so it could be 200 or 150 or 175. So you check what requirements they'll give you and then you model accordingly. Okay. Okay, so let's go to Revit and then let's model this one. So we are starting modeling, we are modeling our staircase from the staircase level because that's the offset of 150 below the ground level. So how do you do this? So you go to architecture, right? Right. And then you click on stair, this section that says stair. So once you click on it, you select run. If it's not already selected, you select run. And then the next thing you go is you go to your properties tab, and then you click on cast in place there. Okay. We don't already have a family for it, so you just select one of it. So you could already have a loaded family, but you can also edit one of this. So click on monolithic stair 2. Okay. Monolithic stair 2. Now, very important. Once you select it and you look at your constraints, right? The base level says what? Staircase level. That's correct. Now, our top level says first floor level. Okay. That's also correct. So we want to go from staircase level to first floor level. So you have to make sure you always check that. Very, very, very important. Now, after that, because sometimes base level could be something else, top level could be something else, and to affect your modeling. The next thing you have to click on is the edit type. So you click on edit type, and then your type properties dialog box open. So you want to duplicate this. So let's change the name to let's just change the name to institute 150 mm waist. Okay, 150 mm waist. Then click on OK. Right. Now, and then let's make after duplicating, we can now make the change. So you know from our riser height from what we've studied from the architectural drawing, our riser height is what 150 mm. So you put that there. We know that our thread depth is what 300. You also put that there. And you know that our minimum run width is what our minimum run width. So it's with it our minimum run width was da, da, da. Yeah, that's 1350. Okay. 1350. 1350. Okay. So some of the changes that I have to do. So this one says run type. Okay. You see a depth of this. We don't want that. So you just change it to so you click on that. You don't want 250. What we rather want is 150 depth. Okay. So you click on that and then you change it to smooth. This is 150. Okay. Then the thread, you remove it. You don't take all that. You don't want any of those. Take. Okay. So yeah, that's okay. Our landing type, right? The thickness is 300. We don't want that. So you take on this, check if you have that. You don't have, you duplicate. You click on duplicate and then you give a thickness of 150 mm thickness. So 150, click on OK. Right, you have that. Then you change it over here to 150. Okay. So yeah, then click on OK. So we have that done. We have all the requirements we need done. Click on OK. Right. Now you see it changes to the desired number of what rises to 22 as we calculated earlier. Okay. So you have to make sure that everything follows the way you want it to follow. Now a context panel opens for us, the one we see location line, offsets, actual weight, 1350, the way we want it to look like. Okay. So so let's see what happens when we leave it at right. When you click it, leave it at right, okay. You come to the center of this gray line and you draw. You see, it's drawing the staircase at the right hand side. Okay. We don't want it to draw it that way. Okay. You don't want it to draw it that way. What we rather want is for it to draw on the left hand side because our staircase is not in this place. Our staircase is rather in the left hand side. Okay, so you click on this and then select left. Okay, so now it's drawing on the left. That's the way we want it. Now, as you're drawing, if I zoom in a bit, you can see it's showing the number of risers that we've drawn and what's left. Okay, so we want it to be equal. So you hover to the top. Make sure automatic landing is ticked. Okay. So you hover and make sure you have 11 risers drawn to 11 risers remaining. Okay. 11 risers drawn to 11 risers remaining. So you select, once you have that, you just select that point. Okay. So you selected, then you come here, change it to right because now you're drawing the staircase right. Hover, close. There's no offset. Okay. If there's an offset distance, then you also do that. But this one, you don't want any offset distance. You select this connection point over here and then hover where back to where it ends. Okay, over here. We have that. Okay. So now when you do that, you see that our landing is a little bit extended away. So you select it like this, okay. And then now you can drag the landing so it to meet the specific side that we want it to be, right? Yeah. So it's okay. So and then just click on this. And then save the project. Okay, so we've done this now. Now let's go to ground floor. It's not visible here because our view range was not set to see the staircase here. So if we go to ground floor, right, you select it. can see the drawing lines for that staircase over there. Okay, we are not done with the staircase. We have to now come and edit the staircase. So how do you edit it? So what you have to do is to draw a section. Okay. So you come here, hover here, there's this section here, or you go to view and then click on this section mark. Right. Once you click on it, you can select anywhere. Not anywhere, but select exactly where you want to cut the section at. So you select at this part like this. You hover there, view a little bit closer like this. Then you right click, then click on go to view. Okay. So now you can see our staircase. Let's extend all this. Let's extend all this. Yeah, to this or let us use this select or the entire PH on your keypad just to let that go away. I want visibility. Okay. Now, we're supposed to have something. We didn't draw something because we need a mid landing beam. Okay. We need a mid landing beam. And then and we don't have it. So let's draw our mid landing beam before we go. So let's go to one of the levels. Let's go to elevation. Let's go to east. Okay. Let's go to east. So we know our mid landing is between this and then this, right? So it has to share that section. So what you do is that you let's measure what it is from staircase level all the way to this. So we have 3,300. Okay. So 3,300 divided by 2, we are creating a level there, right? 3,300 divided by 2, we have 1,650. Okay. 1,650. So let's draw a level at that side. So let's go to structure, level, and then 1,650 the offset, 1,650 the offset, select this one. Then remember, always try and hover to the top, rather. Hover to the top, okay? So you can see once you do that, hover to the top. Once you do that, you see 11.6 has been done. You can bring it back. And then let's name it mid land beam. Okay, that's our mid land beam section. All right. So now that we have that, let's make this visible in our view. So uh, let's go to view. Let's go to plan views, select structure plan, and then okay, that's it. Okay. Okay. So right now we have that view visible here. Okay. So what we just want to draw is our beam at that section. So the structure beam 200 by 450, that's fine. Exactly how we want it to be done. So we have our beam at that side. Okay. So now when you go to our section one, you see the beam is drawn exactly how we want it to be drawn. Okay. So the next thing that we would have to do is to let's see something and see something. Okay. So let's change this to realistic, okay, so that we see our view a little bit correctly. So shaded, yeah. So this one looks a bit good. Now we have our staircase. Let's check what's the. Let's go to annotate. Let's go to thread number. Okay, select this one, 110. Okay, so now you see we have our 22. What's the name? Our 22 risers, okay, 22 risers. But you have to notice something, right? You can see that our what's the name? Our thread for the last one, if you measure from here to here, what do you get? You get 300. When you look at the last one, it's, it's 160. Because when you hover close to, you see some part of that is going inside. We don't want it to be that way. So let's edit that portion. Okay. So what you do is to type EL in your keypad, and then you select the exterior edge of this beam, right? You select it, and then select the one for the slab that will push that to come outside. Okay. So once you do that, you see that it pushes it there. Now let's see. Let's measure and see what we get for this side here in the measure. Okay, so you can see that some part of the staircase is still, you're not getting the full length. Okay, some part of it is still length. When you go to 3D, you go to 3D, you don't see the staircase, not visible, so you just select all this. You don't even need to select, right? What you just have to do is to let's unselect it and then select the reveal hidden elements. Okay. So you can see that your staircase is showing over here. It's hidden, so that's why you can see. So once you select this one and then you click on hide category, okay. Now you can see the staircase. Okay. So now you can see the staircase. Let's so you select your scrolling button and click on the shift key. That's what enables you to be able to what's the name, to hover. Okay. Let's zoom. Okay. So now you can see your staircase uh is gone. So this one looks a bit correct, right? By the situation whereby your staircase is not even hovering closer to this first floor, what's the name? First floor beam. So in those situations, you have to edit it and make sure that you get your last step to align with the first floor area. Okay. So how do you do that? In case that happens to you, how do you correct it? Right. So what's the process that I have to go through to correct that? To link this one so that it's monolithic with this one. So let's go to ground floor. When you go to ground floor, let's save this model. I always remember to save. When you go to ground floor, you select this what's the name? You select this staircase, the lines, then you click on edit stair. Okay. So let's click on edit stair, you select landing. Okay. And then when you select the landing, you go to where you want to join. So I want to join this section. So okay, I select this one. Okay. I want to join that side. Okay. So once I select this, I'll now go to this side which says create a sketch. Right. And then I would select this rectangle. All right. Then I draw a landing. Give it the same what's the name? What name criteria? Give it the same distance as the thread length, the same length as the thread. Okay. So let's cover a bit, increase to 3.9. It's almost the same thing. And then select that. So now we have a landing inside there. If we go to 3D, you can see now we have it connected. Okay. We have this connected to the floor over there. So if we go to let's go to 3D. Was it 3D we're coming from? Okay, yeah, 3D. Yeah, let's click on that. Select map. Okay, so we have done that. So, so this is our first floor. We have that going ground floor. Okay, so let's go to. I want to go to the section. Go to yeah. Okay, so Now we have our staircase drawn correctly, the way we want it to be like. Okay, so by still 25, if we measure our distance from here to here, we have the 150 correctly at the one staircase is connected. That's why it's a way to enter into it straight, but I mean, it's fine. The rate is not bad, it's okay. Yeah. So now we have everything the way we want it to be like. Have our mid landing beam over here. Have our staircase over here. 22 risers the way it's supposed to be. And yes, that's how you model your staircase for your projects with the 3D you see there. Okay. Now you have everything that you need to run your detailing works. Thank you.